Hello, hello, hello. It is coffee time, though I've took my coffee cup outside. So, technically, I don't know if it is. It might be for you. Anyway, it's where we look at the daily news, see what's going on out there, see what misery is out in the world, see what misery is blighting us. Top story on the Daily Mail website, because that's where we go. Because lots of stories. Doctor at Jeffrey Epstein's postmortem says paedophile was strangled and not hanged. Well hung, he should be. This is Dr. Michael Baden, who was present at Jeffrey Epstein's postmortem, has called for the cause of the paedophile's death to be reinvestigated 7 years after it occurred at the Metropolitan Correctional Centre. Again, there were a lot of people who would have wanted rid of him. Yeah. Again, he's unconvinced by the conclusion at the New York Medical Examiner's Office that the millionaire, well, multi-millionaire paedophile took his own life whilst awaiting trial on sex trafficking charges. Quote, "It is my opinion that his death was most likely caused by strangulation, pressure rather than hanging." He added, given the information now available, further investigation into the cause and manner of death is warranted. And yeah, and here is the cell where Epstein lived his last. So, well, who knows, eh? Who knows? Who knows? And this is Dr. Michael Baden himself saying, I think he was killed. So, what do you think? Let me know in the comments box below. Don't worry, you probably won't, because nobody comments on my videos. This is the story of Gary McDougall. This is one of those estate. You know when people get left out of the will. This is Gary McDougall. Here he is. He's been left out of the will. Look at him. Well, look. The button there, unbuttoned. No wonder he's left. Scruffy oik. Look at him. Do your button up, mate. But yeah, he found himself on the wrong side of the will. 7-year-old expected his multi-millionaire mother, Jean McDougall, her estate to be split between him, his sister, Sandra Thomas, and her husband, Lloyd Philip Thomas. But after a change in her will in 2011 and a series of property sales and gifts, Mr. McDougall was left with nil to when the matriarch died in April 2020. He's now suing his sister and brother-in-law at the High Court, accusing them of plundering £1.685 million of his mother's money while she was still alive. But in court this week, McDougall was forced to so it's playing an advert. That's better, I swear. The Daily Mail, it was putting me off. It's playing a background advert. It's like, what the hell? It should be muted. He was forced to deny his mother had reason to cut him out of her will, right? And they're blaming this on the shame of him having cheated on his wife Anna with a local council worker. His sister's lawyer said that Jean, as a member of an older, more traditional generation, was disappointed and ashamed of her son. And they said she supported Mr. McDougall's wife amid his infidelity and may have cut him out of the will after brooding about his, well, infidelities. But Mr. McDougall denied he was disinherited because of his affair, telling the judge that his sharp as attack mother would have given him both barrels if she had genuinely been so angry at him. He also claims that Mr. and Mrs. Thomas exercised undue influence over Jean when she was not mentally capable in order to secure the £1.7 million house that had been gifted to him. The McDougall family fortune derived from the siblings' property developer father, Alec McDougall, Judge Nicola Rushton heard. And here is Jean herself, who is at the centre of this battle for the money. It's always money in it. And this is the sister, Sarah, who looks like she's already celebrating. But yeah, it's a murky one. Will he get his money back? I don't know. Will he get? But yeah, he's also challenging the ownership of this house, which he says is worth 1.7 million. Very nice, very nice. It was given to her, to Mrs. Thomas and her husband in 2015, whilst Jean was still alive. Yeah, it's a tricky one. We'll have to see if that one comes back, because sometimes these things happen and we don't hear the results. So who knows? Okay, we'll do this one. This is there's a lot of trans about at the moment. Again, we live in a very strange time where children can believe that they are something they are not, and adults encourage it rather than saying don't be stupid. Yeah, Labour has released new trans guidance for schools, and it allows the possibility of primary school pupils to socially transition in rare cases, with education leaders warning it could see children change gender without parental consent. Again, they go behind parents' backs and hide. They could be, Jack at home and Jill at school without the parent even knowing. Former head of Ofsted is the what is Ofsted? What is it good for? Absolutely nothing. Say it again. They're the organisation that oversees the education of our land, and they do the ratings of the schools. But yeah, former head of Ofsted, Baroness Amanda Spielman, said guidance gives too much leeway for schools to permit children to transition while keeping it secret from their parents. Meanwhile, Conservative MP Claire Coutinho also out the new rules, saying primary school children are too young to make these decisions, and that the Conservative drafted the document has said that transition should be not permitted until they're older. It shouldn't be permitted at all, because you get the whole issue with changing rooms and school toilets, etc., etc. And it should all be discouraged until they're an adult. When you're an adult, do what you want. Do what you want. As soon as we rid ourselves of this ridiculous ideology, because there is no science, it's all cod fake science, we are here. But there was an article yesterday, I don't know if I can find it. It was in the Telegraph. I probably won't be able to find it, and if I do, I probably won't be able to read it, he said, because everything's behind a paywall. Oh, go away. Because there was this news about the puberty blocker trial that was backed. It was, yeah, that's the one. And here we go. 226 children who believe that they are transgender will be given puberty block as a part of an investigation commissioned by West Streeting. Again, this is more cod science that came out of the Netherlands. In the past, puberty blockers were used extensively for children that had like growth issues or precocious puberty, kids that hit puberty around 5 and 6, and of course it can be very difficult for them, so they delay puberty, take them off the drugs at 9, and everything happens as normal. But here they want to preserve, they do it to preserve the children's bodies, to stop them going through puberty, so they can medically transition better when they're older. But it's a myth. It's all a load of cobblers, absolute cobblers. The worst thing about this, right, in this trial, is that there are more than 200 participants under the age of 16, and there are promised vouchers of up to £500 for completing various psychometric tests involved in the trial. Yeah, participants will each aged under 16 will receive £30 vouchers for each of the 15 cognitive assessments they complete, as well as £15 vouchers for each of the 3 MRI scans they undertake over a 2-year of the trial. Meanwhile, children in another arm of the trial that are not taking the drugs will be given £15 vouchers for bone density scans and blood tests that they have. And these vouchers are Love to Shop vouchers, which can be redeemed at retailers including Currys, John Lewis, as well as Uber Eats and Xbox. What a wonderful time to be alive. we should not be experimenting on our children. Again, anyone who's had children or has contact, if you've got nieces and nephews, your blood should be boiling. Children are not to be experimented on, but here we are, and we're going to offer them a cash incentive, albeit a voucher incentive, to do it. It makes me so angry. It really makes me so angry that we're here when all this stuff should be shut down, and it shouldn't happen because they can't give informed consent because they're under the age of 16. They're operating under, oh God, was it something? They've got another term for it. They can't give consent, but they're giving informed assent, i.e. they're giving permission to somebody else to make the decision for them, either a doctor or their parent. And I don't know about you, but it just seems so wrong to be experimenting on children. It just seems so wrong. But here we are. But like I say, when you're an adult, do what you want, do what you please, get whatever help and surgery, whatever help you need to fix your problems. But the kids should be able to go through puberty because that often fixes the issue. So yeah, what a wonderful time to be alive, ain't it, Governor? Meanwhile, this is fresh news this morning. Now this should have been obvious. Like after the other day, some, I think they were Palestine Action people got freed by a jury. It was the one who broke the policewoman's back with a sledgehammer. They were all acquitted of their charges under a jury. But you've got to remember that those people were probably nobbled because there were signs up on the way to the courthouse where they were holding it, signs up threatening them, apparently. So that's not supposed to happen. That's illegal in itself, right? That is the sort of thing that, I don't know, the mafia do, or organised crime rings do. But here we are. I don't think that was widely reported enough that threats were given to the jury, But anyway, it's going to be. I think that's going to be appealed. Hopefully it's going to be appealed, and we can see that happen. But a High Court has dramatically ruled that banning Palestine Action as a terrorist organisation was unlawful. Remember, this is the same group that damaged a plane on an airbase, and also smashed into another property and ended up breaking a policewoman's back with a sledgehammer. This is where we're at. This is the 21st century. It's a great time to be alive, isn't it? Where chaos rules. Judges found that proscription, which was categorised the protest group alongside the likes of Islamic State, was disproportionate. Under laws that were brought in by Tony Blair around what happened with 9/11, it was legal. But they say it isn't. Meanwhile, Home Secretary Shabana Mahmood immediately announced her plan to appeal the court's decision. Although the ban remains in place for now, the Metropolitan Police said it would stop arresting supporters of Palestine Action, but will focus on gathering evidence. Again, it's it's insane. What else have we got? I'm trying to find a good quote here. At its core, Palestine Action is an organisation to promote its political cause through criminality and encouragement of criminality, they said. This is via the Home Secretary. And a very small number of its actions have amounted to terrorist action. For those actions, regardless of prescription, the criminal law is available to prosecute those concerned. This is from the judges, sorry. However, the judges added the claimant has sought to portray Palestine Action as a non-violent organisation. This is not sustainable proposition. So yeah, again, we'll have to wait and see what happens there. Again, these people are highly aggressive, highly organised, and financed by people that that know better. Mainly the unions and millionaires that that organise all of this stuff. It's all very disturbing. But that's why we have a rise of anti-Semitism in this country, because we have people like Palestine Action doing what they do. Meanwhile, scientists are baffled, aren't they always? Because things don't seem to be doing the things that they think they should do. In this case, it is glaciers. Again, some of the world's glaciers are in retreat, but they're baffled. These scientists are baffled to find 3,100 glaciers that are surging, i.e. going in the opposite direction. Yeah, during a surge, a glacier sends large amounts of ice built up over decades racing downhill, where it rapidly melts in the warm lower altitude weather. Surge-prone glaciers make up a large proportion of lost ice in some regions, and experts warn that some are even surging themselves to death. Oh my God, it's the opposite. Whilst this is bad news for the glaciers themselves, the outlook is even worse for the people who live beside them. Yeah, get flooded out. But yeah, they're not expecting these glaciers to surge as much as they should. But hey, maybe global warming is happening even quicker. I look forward to the world being underwater, because I think it's time that we moved over for the next lot, don't you? Like the dinosaurs before us, you know, we should pack it in. Meanwhile, the Met Office is still warning that Arctic blast with 4 inches of snow and a -7 freeze is on its way. But says even though there could be a freeze, we might even see some sun tomorrow. There we go. So it's either snowing or it's sunny. They can't make up their mind. Ain't that great? Ain't that great? Here we go. Here's more. Everybody loves a bit of Andrew news. Again, Andrew, formerly known as Prince. It's been revealed he passed on a confidential Treasury briefing to a banker friend. This is new emails, I guess, from the Epstein files, is it? I imagine. He was Britain's trade envoy in 2010 when he requested an official update on the financial crisis gripping Iceland. When the Treasury sent him one, he forwarded it to his financial friend Jonathan Rowland to read before you make your next move. He says, in quotes, the former Duke of York... not anymore, is already facing a police probe over claims he leaked confidential data to Jeffrey Epstein, among others. Thames Valley Police detectives are assessing whether to open an investigation. They should. Earlier this week, Buckingham Palace said it stands ready to support the police in any investigation. Again, King Chuck has already judged him guilty by taking everything away from him. He's basically saying, you're on your own, son, because if there was any whiff of innocence about Andrew, they would be protecting him. They are no longer. What they've done to him is not protecting him. I know, because again, a lot of the anti-monarchists think that you know, Chuck should do more. There's not a lot more he can do other than drive him to the police station himself. But yeah, so poor Andy, he's getting it from all sides, isn't he? He's going it, and it's a shame, and it's a shame. Meanwhile, good news, everyone. Our mate Putin. We love Putin. Got to say that, because we don't want to drink the polonium tea, do we? Don't want any of that tea. This is a claim here from European experts. Which European experts are these? Australian military expert Franz Stefan Gady, apparently. But yeah, they claim that Russia could defeat NATO with its army of just 15,000. Really? In a war game simulating Russian assault on the organisation, former German and NATO officials revealed that President Vladimir Putin could secure a victory within days of launching an attack. Have they been seeing what the Ukrainians have done to the Russian forces with drones? Okay. Following the exercise, security experts have cautioned that Russia could be in position to execute such an operation within 12 months. Okay. The simulation envisions events unfolding on October 2026, with Russia attempting to capture the Lithuanian city of Mariupol. And yeah, here's this Putin going, "I'll take it all, comrade." I don't think so. I mean, look, those guys are all made out of cardboard anyway. They're not real. They say that rocket launchers, blah blah blah. Polish security analyst Bartolomew Kot, who participated in the game, told the Wall Street Journal the Russians have achieved most of their goals without moving many of their own units. This is a simulation. Did they take into account of drone warfare and all the other technology that we have at our hands, or are they doing it like Dad's army? I do question the legitimacy of that. Sounds a bit daft. Sounds a bit daft to me. Because again, he said he'd take Ukraine out was it in a fortnight? Never happened. What else have we got? Got more Andrew news. Andrew flew girl to UK on Epstein's Lolita jet and took her to Buckingham Palace. So there's more pressure to launch a sex trafficking probe into Andrew, formerly known as Prince, because there were 90 flights carrying girls from around the world that he may have been involved in. So that's good. Meanwhile, he was also handed £12 million from the royal family, but King Charles had no part in it. Like I said, King Chuck is saying, "You're on your own, son." I think it mainly came from the Queen. So there you go. It's not looking good for him. Not looking good for him. Meanwhile, the government are going to ban people from vaping in their own cars if children are present. Well, doesn't it come under the smoking ban, doesn't it, I guess? Yeah. All existing indoor places where smoking is already banned will become heated tobacco-free or vape-free, including workplaces, pubs, public transport and private vehicles carrying under 18s. Meanwhile, smoking, vaping and heated tobacco will also be prohibited in some outdoor areas for the first time, including children's playgrounds, outside schools, subject to consultation. And here's someone enjoying their vape. But don't worry about the popcorn lung, everyone. Popcorn lung. Wes Streeting said no child in a playground or hospital patient should suffer because somebody else chooses to smoke. Second, he'd be talking about vapes, is he? This is obviously an old quote. Couldn't get any new quotes about the vapes. Do you vape? What's your favourite flavour of vape? Please leave a comment in a comment box below. You won't. You never do. Apparently there's a cure for baldness, but we'll never know. We'll never know because it's a Mal Plus story. I'll never find out now. I'm going to be bald forever. There's no cure for me. A new study. This is, we're going Winter Olympians, right? We're doing the Winter Olympics. Winter Olympians will be rejoicing and cheering and hugging and possibly caressing each other because a new study suggests that the athletes abstaining from sex may be hindering their performance rather, than aiding it. Because usually, like in boxing and things like that, say don't have sex before the fight. It keeps you, all kind of fired up. But in this new research, contrary to popular belief, scientists of the University of Valladolid have found that pre-exercise sex can actually boost performance. That's why I'll knock one out before coming on here. Keeps me sharp. Oh dear. Anyway, in this study, the team analysed the performance of male athletes 30 minutes after masturbating and compared it to their performance a week after a week of abstinence. Surprisingly, found the athletes were able to exercise for longer and were even stronger following the sexual activity. There you go. I told you, knock one out. If you want that edge, I'll try it before playing Monopoly on Saturday. Oh man. Ah dear. According to researchers, sex may be like a natural warm-up for the nervous system. Yeah, I can imagine that because it gets all the all the synapses firing, doesn't it, and all the serotonin and dopamine swishes around your body, and it just kind of makes you feel a bit wired, isn't it? It's a natural high. Masturbation 30 minutes before exercise elicited mild sympathetic and hormonal activation without detrimental effects on performance or muscle damage, the team explained. These findings suggest that pre-exercise sexual activity does not impair athletic capacity in trained men, challenging the long-standing myth of mandatory abstinence before competition. From boxing to football, athletes across several sports are actually encouraged to avoid sex before competition. However, there's been little research to confirm that that's the case. But this new study, they enlisted 21 male athletes aged between 18 to 25 who compete at high-level sports, including basketball, long-distance running and judo. The athletes visit the lab on 2 occasions and 1 week apart. 30 minutes before their first visit, the athletes were asked to masturbate. On the second visit, they were asked to abstain from all sexual activity for full 7 days. And during their visits, the athlete's grip strength was tested using a dynamometer. Got good grip. While their endurance was analysed through a test on a stationary bike. I thought it was like testing the strength of their wrists. In addition, they had blood tests taken so that scientists could check their levels of testosterone and cortisol. Those are hormones that have been shown to boost performance. And they had a 3.2% boost and a slightly higher grip strength. I wonder why. This study was published in Physiology and Behaviour. So there you go. Meanwhile, it's been revealed that the village where the Winter Olympian athletes have been staying in Milan has reportedly run out of condoms after slashing its supply from 300,000 to a mere 10,000. Just have to rinse them out and reuse them, wouldn't they? Oh man, it's a tough one today. I'm ever so sorry. So there you go. There you go. If you want the edge. Yeah, won't that work? That's kind of funny. Meanwhile, we have fruity news. Angus Lapsley, right? He's a Britain's ambassador to NATO. Here he is. 55. He's dating his 29-year-old assistant. I can't think why. Can anyone think why? I wonder what she sees in him. But there you go. So, but yeah, they're living in an apartment like this in Brussels. It's all right, isn't it? It's all right. But yeah, his romance with Miss Courtini has been deemed such an issue. It's been reportedly been brought to the attention of Admiral Sir Keith Blount, the most senior British officer in NATO, who said, "Why aren't I getting any?" No, that's a joke. He didn't say that. I'm just doing that for effect. But here she is again when she's not wearing her bikini. It's all right if you can get it, I suppose. What can you say? Can't do that one. More Andrew news, and this is really sad. Andrew, formerly known as Prince, has moved. He's moved out, right? He's been booted out of the Royal Lodge. But his new home in Sandringham is so small, there's no room for his 60-strong teddy bear collection. Here he is. He's thinking about where he's going to put those teddy bears. When really, he should be thinking about the police coming to question him. Yeah, this is claimed in German. I'll get it right in a minute. German outlet built, and these are some teddy bears. Not necessarily Andrew's teddy bears, but imagine the looks on those teddy bears' faces. Imagine what those teddy bears have seen. We'll never know because they're not telling. They're not telling, are they? Meanwhile, following up to the Winter Olympics athletes village runs out of condoms. There we go. See, 3 days after cutting supply. And we go from condoms to Ofcom's porn crackdown. One company has been fined £800,000 for not having robust age checks in place. An investigation found that Kick Online Entertainment has failed to comply with age check requirements between July the 25th and December 29th last year. But Ofcom have announced that the company has since introduced an age check method that was capable of being highly effective. However, the regulator said it was also fined Kick for £30,000 for failing to respond to its request for information in an accurate, complete and timely way. In addition, it would impose a daily penalty of £200 on the company until it responded. But yeah, Suzanne Cater, Director of Enforcement Ofcom, said having highly effective age checks on adult sites to protect children from pornographic content is non-negotiable. Any company that fails to meet this duty or engage with us can expect to face robust enforcement action, including significant fines. Well, again, it's obvious this should be a thing, and if you've got an issue with it, then you're a wrong un. You're a wrong un, and you're a wrong un. So there you go. But yeah, that comes under the Online Safety Act that was brought out in 2023. What else we got? This is Juventus manager Luciano Spalletti, right, has been accused of harassment of a female Italian football reporter, right? Because they're doing the interview. Here they are. They're doing the interview, and he does what Italians do. He goes like that, and they're saying he harassed her, but she defended him and said no, he didn't. Well, he didn't. Did he even make contact? It was more of an air kiss, wasn't it? It was more of an air kiss. But yeah, Federico Zilli was speaking to the football boss after his side's 2-2 draw with Lazio and asked about one of his controversial moments in the game. Spalletti was trying to argue that contact between players in the box is normal, not everyone needs to be penalised. And in making his point, he said, there is contact, and he leaned towards Zilli, kissed her on the shoulder to the amusement of the panel at the television studio. He said, the rules are too rigid now. I don't know if he even did that. He looked like it was an air kiss, but there you go. And everyone's like, no, it's wrong. It's wrong. But the reporter, she said no. She was fine with it. There was no harassment. And look, she doesn't look amused. Again, I think everyone's just getting a little bit sensitive out there. A little bit sensitive about things. What else have we got? How long have we been on? 30 minutes. God, blimey, it feels like for everything, isn't it? Oh, of course, it's Friday the 13th today. Blimey. That's not good, is it? Still looking for out. The animal stories are not. They're not coming these days. We're going to Tewkesbury. Residents in Tewkesbury could find themselves fined if they leave their bins out. Yeah. A petition by the Tewkesbury Civic Society has raised concerns about bin blight in the town's historic conservation area, and they reckon the bins are ruining the Instagrammable aesthetic that, you know, for visiting influencers and holiday makers. And look, here's a man with some bins. Look. We didn't ask for the bins. These bins were forced upon us. And where are we supposed to put these bins? They're everywhere. Bins everywhere. Look at them. But, you know, again, these things are big, unwieldy. Where are you going to put them? Again, we was talking about this the other day, about the rise of these plastic. Again, these bins are made of plastic. They're not exactly environmentally friendly. When I were a lad, do you know how we got rid of our rubbish? Well, firstly, we didn't have a lot of plastic rubbish because most packaging was paper or card. But we used to get like potatoes in bags, potato bags. Have you ever seen a potato bag? It was made of cardboard, made of like papery card stuff, and all our rubbish used to go into that and go out perfectly recyclable. Didn't have any bin liners or plastic involved, and here we are. Everything's grumble. Meanwhile, Switzerland could be holding a referendum. No, not the Swiss. What are they going to be doing? They're going to be holding a referendum. It's not to do with their chocolate or the cuckoo clocks. It's to do with the population, yeah. The controversial proposal pushed by the right-wing Swiss People's Party, the SVP, They've got enough signatures to trigger a nationwide vote on June the 14th to vote on whether they should cap the population at 10 million. And that's they're trying to, again, deal with migration. Though I can't imagine they'd have a problem with it, because it's very expensive to live in Switzerland. Expensive place. But maybe they've got a problem with migration too. I don't know. Let me see. This is where Grok is your friend. Give me the immigration figures for Switzerland over the last 10 years in a chart. There you go. It'll throw it up in a minute. It's held fairly steady. I mean, in 2015-29, 50,000 to 80,000 people. Lower, it dropped to 50 to 60 during the COVID period. 80,000 in 2022. Record high in 2023, 148,000 people. But then went back down to 80 to 90,000. Again, that seems to be the average. Give me the... I'm going to find the population figures for the last 20 years. It's quite interesting, that. Yeah. In 2005, it was 7.4 million, and 2025, 8.9. So, yeah, in the last 10 years, yeah. Yes, it's quite, but they've not got long. They've only got another million, and they're going to hit that cap. So, I don't know. What else have we got? I'm hoping that there'll be an animal story, but there's another Andrew story. Andrew in his car, but that's not as interesting as teddy bears, is it? It really isn't. So, what else? Oh boy, oh boy. There's no animal stories. I don't know what we're going to end on. There's no animal stories. What are we going to end on? Oh, this is kind of an animal story. We'll end on this one. This is the story of Detective Chief Inspector Lynn Vilcek. She's lodged a claim against Kent Police Chief Constable Tim Smith after a Belgian Malinois pup named Frank lunged at her. Frank was at home with her partner, who was a police dog handler, and bit her on the cheek and nose after she tried to pet him in the kitchen. And yeah, she suffered bite injuries to her face and since been left with a specific phobia of dogs and anxiety disorder, for which she's seeking compensation of £100,000. She alleged that the trainee police dog, Frank, was potentially dangerous unless kept under control. During a pre-trial hearing at Central London County Court, Judge Luke Ashby was told that Frank was a police gift dog who'd been donated by a member of the public in December 2021 with the view of being trained up. Lawyers acting for the detective told the court that the gift dog becomes property of the Kent Police and is being assessed for future police work. Narrating the day of the attack, in January 2022, Frank had been in the garden before following Wilczek's husband into the kitchen. The claimant came into contact with Frank and as a result stroked him on the head, and once then, as she moved away, Frank lunged towards her face and bit her on the cheek and nostril, causing injury. But there's no pictures of the injury. There's only a picture of her and Frank. There she is. And there's Frank. Frank couldn't help it. He was probably just scared. I think Frank's doing his duty, isn't he? She's a wrong 'un. He knew she was a wrong 'un. That's why he attacked, because he knew she was going to try and sue the police for 100 grand, and he was just preempting it. I say justice for Frank. But yeah, if Wilczek's case against the chief constable is successful, Damages are paid out of the police fund. Now again, this is the odd part of it. It's her husband who's the handler. He was in control of the dog. How is it Kent Police's fault? You know. But here we are. That's the legalities of it. It makes no sense. And we'll end it there. Sorry, it's not a funny story, but I think Frank's innocent. Innocence for. Oh no, we could. Is this funny? It's a kind of funny story. It's another cop story. This is up in Stoke-on-Trent. And oh, it played without an advert. I was caught out then. I was getting it queued up, expecting there to be an advert. This is Kelly Sim. She had a rude awakening after 3 officers rushed towards the front door at her home on Tuesday morning. Miss Sim was in bed after her husband left for work when she was disturbed by a nurse downstairs. Her Ring doorbell captured footage of emergency personnel rushing towards the front door, one stumbling along the way. This happened at 7:40 a.m. Our Staffordshire police were called to reports of a sudden death at the moat in Western Coyney. But yeah, police confirmed that a woman was found dead on the same street. Miss Sim said she was unsure if she was dreaming when the police force entered her property. They came still into the house shouting, "Police, police, police!" And I thought my husband had been in a car crash. He'd just left for work minutes earlier and I was sort of still asleep. So I wasn't sure if I was still dreaming when the cops rushed in. They took a quick look and said they'd got the wrong address and dashed off, with one officer saying that they had a call saying that someone suffered a heart attack and fell down the stairs. I thought it was strange because you don't usually send 3 police cars, a forensic van, and 2 ambulances to a heart attack. And we do have the footage up here, because again there was no. But you've got to keep an eye out for one of them. One of them has a little bit of a slip on the mud. Are you ready? Keep your eye out. Whoa there! Whoa! She nearly went there. Can you imagine all the police bursting into your house? But yeah, so you can see it again. Whoa! Whoa! Nearly went. So there we go. Not a really good story, but that'll do, innit? Meanwhile, Southwark Council are sparked furious for spending £6,276 on fast food, on takeaways including Domino's, Pret a Manger and Costa since 2022. Well, it's good to know that your money's been spent well. Michael's in. Hi Michael, I don't know what that message is. Renee's in. Hey, the watermelon is present. Oz is in, so I have to knock one out before listening to it. Makes me a better listener. Exactly. It's why nothing gets done. These days. Simon says, good afternoon from Denmark. Watching in my lunch break. Good. This week maybe we should call it lunchtime, because it's lunchtime somewhere in the world, isn't it? Like it's always coffee time somewhere in the world. Stray says, any prog news? No. This is the wrong strand. This is coffee time. We don't do that kind of shit here. That nonsense. Prog news. Nobody cares. Nobody cares about music anymore. Chris asks, hello from Greece. God, we're getting around today, aren't we? We're all around the world. Well, Europe at least. And Hetty's in. She says, hi Darren, thanks for the coffee time. Have a nice day. Same to you. Again, if you've been trying to, we weren't here yesterday because the boiler seems to be fixed. Everyone, good news. The issue with the boiler that started last Wednesday week, seems to be rectified. The man came yesterday, that's why there was no coffee time yesterday, because the boiler man was here, and yeah, it seems to be all fixed. Now, so that's good. Oh yes, this is a good CD. You should get this CD. If you want prog news, get this CD. It's very, very good. Very, very good. Complete Loser recorded it, but it's very, very good. But I would say that because I recorded it. Ha 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 ha. But yeah, so that's that. Michael says, my favourite e-liquid flavour. I only typed it in since no one would tell you that. Oh, RY4. I have no idea what that is. You might need. Okay. Well, thanks for answering, because, like I say, nobody answers me when I ask questions. Oh, God. It's very hard to get a response, but thank you for taking the time to answer. It's very kind of you. Anyway, it's the weekend. The weekend is coming, and have a good one. And we'll see you all again. I don't know. Next week the kids are off, so I don't know what's going on. And on Tuesday I'm going to be out, so I don't know what's going on. Kids stuff. It's busy in it. Kids are off on the school holidays, half term. That went quick. They're heading towards their exams. It'll be all over. It'll be all over soon. How the time flies. And so yeah, I don't know. It might be a bit spotty next week. I'll see what I can do. Anyway, thank you for watching. Have a good weekend. And yeah, that's it. That was the news, whether you like it or not. Ta-ta.